Welcome back, everybody. It's episode 12 of the What's He On About podcast. I'm your host, Charlie, and it is a special episode today. We're going to be covering England India T20 series that begins today, Wednesday, that is. That gets underway. We're going to have a look at the Australia Sri Lanka series that starts next Wednesday. Not a proper preview, but we're going to understand why Australia are going to lose. Pakistan prepare an absolute bunsen for the West Indies, and we can imagine how that ended. And then we end the show with news that thousands of riled up Aussies have come crying into the comments about a recent post I put up on TikTok. So go and check that out. But first, listen to this podcast and ask yourself, what is he on about? England versus India T20 series gets underway today. If you're listening on Wednesday, that is. But India are without many big names. No Bumrah, no Kohli, no Rohit, Jaiswal, or KL Rahul. But it does show you how much depth India have in their T20 lineup. The IPL has really helped them out with some tremendous array of batting choices and bowling choices. Surya Kumar Yadav will be the captain, but I'll tell you, England look a whole lot better. Some of the batters in this England side are astronomical. Phil Salt, Ben Duckett, Joss Butler, Harry Brook, Jacob Bethel, Liam Livingston. These guys are quality batters and they make up the top six. And one thing Brendan McCullum has made for sure about his comeback, his presence in the white ball side for England is it's all about entertainment. And I tell you, that top six looks as entertaining as it gets in world cricket. Butler and Brook at 3 and 4 just looks terrifying, doesn't it? I mean, Brook alone, the higher he bats, the better he averages in T20 cricket. Why waste him down the order? He's slotting in nicely there at 4. Duckett's taken over the opening spot over Butler, but he only moves down to 3. We know Butler can play well in that number 3 role, and as captain, that's going to suit him really nicely. But Livingston's earned his way up the order through good performances in the West Indies, and Jacob Bethel, he's shown for England how good he is at finishing off innings, making sure he's not out at the end, and that's a great trait to have as a number 6. As we look into the bowlers, it's a star-studded bowling attack, especially in the pace department for England. We've got Atkinson, Archer, and Mark Wood all making up that pace lineup. I thought they were going to rest one of Archer and Wood and maybe play a Mahmood, who had a great end to the West Indies series, but Archer and Wood, they've only got to bowl 4 overs each. I think that, there's an argument to say maybe you should rest one of them. But in T20 cricket, I think it's good to give them both a run out, and McCullum really is not going to hold back. Entertainment for Brendan McCullum. But there's one question for me that hangs over England, and it's the number 7 spot, and it's occupied by Jamie Overton. And I don't quite know why England are so obsessed with this guy. No disrespect to the player, I've seen him tear it up at county cricket. He is a quality player. However, there's this idea, I get it, I get the idea. There's this idea that Jamie Overton is the perfect balance to the team. Great pace option, hits a massively long ball, 10 rows back into the stands. He can do that. He can win you a game with bat and ball. I get that. But I've got a couple of things to say. First of all, what makes him better than Sam Curran? Sam Curran is arguably better batter, better bowler, better fielder. Other than that, other than when Jamie Overton fields at long on or long off, and they put a tall guy back there, just so that any sixes that are going over their heads, a tall guy might be able to catch it. That's the only reason why I see him being picked over Sam Curran. Not even joking. But the other thing is, he's played 7 games for England. Okay, he's inexperienced, that's fine. But he's only bowled in 3 of those games. out of seven. And that's only two, he's only bowled 2.5 overs a game every time he's bowled. And he's only batted in three of them as well. Yes, he averages 23, but his batting really hasn't been that special either. So what makes him better than Sam Curran? And it looks like we could fill that spot with maybe an extra bowler, extra spinner, or even just an extra outright batter. But I can guarantee that now I've said that, I'll be proved wrong, and he'll have a tremendous series in India. No doubt at all. But why Australia are going to lose to Sri Lanka? Now, we've got a proper preview coming about this next week. That's coming on Wednesday. Make sure to check that out when it drops. But I've got a few reasons here why Australia are 100% going to lose to Sri Lanka. Number one, injuries. Pat Cummins is injured. Josh Hazelwood is injured. Cummins is staying at Australia for the birth of his second child, I believe, as well. But Steve Smith is also an injury scare. He's got an elbow issue. And also the spinner Kuhneman has also got a hand issue. So there's a lot of players here, quality players that could be out. Now, Steve Smith averages 50 in Sri Lanka. He would be a tremendous loss. And he's also tipped to be the captain there as well because Cummins isn't going to be playing. So Steve Smith not in this side could be huge. And not only for quality of players, but they're going to lack a leader. No Cummins, no Smith means there's going to be no cricket brains, no experience that you need so desperately out in the subcontinent. And it looks like Travis Head might have to be captain if there's no Steve Smith. So that could really, really cost Australia. Lack of leader and a lack of quality batters and bowlers. Now, home conditions, continuing on, Sri Lanka in home conditions look scary. All right. They're 5 from 5 at home in 2024. That includes beating New Zealand 2-0. That's a whitewash in Sri Lanka. And that New Zealand team went on to beat India 3-0. So they were not a bad side, especially not in subcontinent conditions. New Zealand went to India, whitewashed them, but Sri Lanka beat them 2-0. That shows how good Sri Lanka are at home. And let's have a look at a couple of their players. Kamindu Mendes, he averages 74 in his career and 123 in Sri Lanka. He's played 3 games in his home country, scored 200s, and got a 50. But there's more to come on that next week. The final thing about that is that home conditions are really building up. Teams are baking wickets. Sri Lanka are going to do that, that's for sure. Australia are going to hate it. But just an example of what's happened this week is Pakistan prepared an absolute dust bowl, a Bunsen of a wicket for West Indies. They thought, West Indies are coming here, let's give them no chance at all. All right, that's what Pakistan have gone and done. They want some points in the World Test Championship, and it worked, didn't it? West Indies got 280 runs and lost 20 wickets. And from the spinners of Pakistan, Sajid Khan got 9 wickets in the match, a fifer and a fourfer, and Noman Ali took 5 wickets in the first innings as well. It's a spinner's paradise. The World's Test Championship is just brewing this idea of let's just bake the wicket so we get points and no one else can come here and win ever. Australia are probably going to start doing it. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all these countries are 100% going to start doing it and making it inhospitable for the sides like England, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa coming in from elsewhere. It's going to be tricky, especially if we get this 2-tier test system of relegation and promotion. It's going to be incredibly challenging for teams to go away. But I quite like that. I do like the fact that away cricket is becoming more challenging. Now, to end the show, I have had many a rattled Australian fan crying in the comments about how typical English, typical Poms complaining about cricket. Right. I posted an Instagram reel. I posted a TikTok on Australia being overrated. I say that they are not the best team in the world. Now, this instantly riled up quite a few people. I claimed that they hadn't won the Ashes in England for 24 years. That got to a few of them. That really got them riled up. But I received a tremendous amount of hate and downright nastiness from about 500 Australians. And I'll give you a few examples. I've got a lot of explaining about what retaining means. And guys, I know it's when you draw a series and you claim it as a win and you keep the trophy. That's fine. That's just how you guys like to come and retain your trophies over here in England. Not a problem at all. Not a problem for me. Yeah, I got typical whinging Pom, cry about it, mate. That was a classic that came up quite a lot. Dumbest thing I've heard. Cheers, lads. I mean, you Aussies are, you know, won't go there. But the stats don't lie, do they, lads? And to end it all off, I got called a lozenge. Yes, a lozenge. So thanks very much for those comments. If you haven't already, make sure you go and check out the TikTok and the Instagram Reels and the YouTube and check out the podcast. Go and have another listen and give us a follow on the podcast, a review on the podcast, and make sure you wait the next episode as you ask yourself once again, what is he on about? Cheers.